So welcome everyone. My name is Mark Andrew Fry, and this is By Divine Design. Welcome to this free healing meditation and transmission that's held every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. If you're catching this later on YouTube, you can see the video description for how you can join. Everyone's welcome. The more the merrier. So thank you all of you that are present here today. Just taking in your wonderful energies. Today, we're going to introduce another word of power. So 15 years ago, when my guides and I were working on this clearing process, and we were using these long clearing statements in different situations for different applications. And at a certain point, I just was like, we're repeating this way too often. Can't we just program all of that into a simple word? And so we began trying different words. And obviously, the word clear became one that we settled on. But in the process, we tried out some other ones. One of them was delete. For a couple of months, I used the word delete. But clear has a different effect that was like both negative and positive, like it could clear away things, but also clear open the pathway. Whereas delete just seemed to lean a little more towards the negative side. So we just wound up using clear more often. And then I quit using delete at a certain point. Well, another word that we were using initially was love. So programming love, just the word love with all the clearing statements we were using. And I practiced with that for a couple of months. And again, just notice that the energy of that was different. And what we were trying to do with all the clearing statements just seemed to align with the word clear and the energy of that. And love, instead of being used as a word of power, just kind of became the assumed background state. So I wasn't necessarily calling it out because I just assumed it was there. But at times, I would be drawn to call it out because that's what the system needed. So as you'll experience today, you can use the word love as a word of power. And you can ask any kind of question that evokes an experience or evokes some kind of response. So like last week we worked with what now? It's like guides, higher self, show me what now? And it brings you into the moment, opens you to that guidance that's always here, always available. And then things happen. Things begin to arise in consciousness. Or maybe it seems like nothing's happening, but nothing happening is a happening. Out of all the things that could happen, if it feels like nothing's happening, then that's what's happening. Nothing is powerful. So don't discount nothing happening. So whatever's arising is arising. You begin to notice what that is. And like we talked about last week, A really good first word is welcome. You just open to it. You just welcome it, whatever it is. Now, you could spend hours just welcoming what comes up. All of these words overlap to some degree. So welcoming includes clearing, includes love, includes breakthrough. And clearing includes them all as well. But they do have different feels. And even though you could just use one without ever touching the others, just because of the way our personalities are designed, we tend to like to use the flow between the different ones. But anyhow, you welcome whatever's arising, and then maybe something uncomfortable begins to come up and you feel like clearing is now a more appropriate word. You just want to clear out what's being released, what's coming up, what no longer fits your system. But sometimes what's coming up is like maybe your inner child's sadness that you haven't been in touch with. So in that case, love might be more appropriate than clearing. You want to make sure this part of you is being bathed in love. And this is where it kind of blends in with welcoming, because it's a type of welcoming also, but it's a welcoming that emphasizes, hey, there's love here. Whatever this is, whatever part of me this is, there's love. So you can just play with using the word love and feel how it works a little differently. Yeah, so to just practice that a little bit right now, we're going to do this again within the transmission, but just to show you how easy it is. So just allow a situation, any situation to come to mind. It could be this moment, it could be some feeling, some intention, and then just welcome that. Welcome whatever that is and whatever comes along with it, any feelings or thoughts or images. And if it helps, you can just repeat welcome, in your own mind, silently or out loud, if that helps. Whatever you notice, you just welcome it. And you feel what that feels like. And then just apply love. You can just repeat to yourself love. It's an intention to just notice that you are being bathed in love. Because love's always here. We're always being bathed in love. This is just to evoke your memory of that, your experience of that. Love. And you might notice that clearing is just happening automatically in that welcoming and in that love. And you might find yourself wanting to say to yourself, clear, clear. Like whatever this is bringing up that no longer fits, clear, clear. And then you can go back like to welcoming whatever's here. Maybe you have frustration that you feel like you're not following this as well as someone else might be. Or maybe you have bliss because it's working really, really nicely. Whatever it is, you just welcome it, love it, clear whatever's being released. And then at a certain point, you might hold the intention to have a breakthrough. And just say to yourself, breakthrough, breakthrough, breakthrough. What would it be like to experience some kind of breakthrough in this situation, in this experience, in this moment? Yeah. So that's a little bit more practice with the words of power and how you can apply them. And yeah, just you're encouraged to explore playing with love as a word of power. We've put more focus on that as part of this framework that we're teaching. A lot of you shared with me that you've been having very profound experiences with the what now question and these words of power, that it's helping you throughout your day to just stay a little bit more in the flow, be a little bit more aware of when you're losing that flow or going back into personality. And that kind of brings us, I'm just going to briefly touch upon the teaching that we're going to go into more deeply tomorrow in the healing group and apply to relationships in particular. But let me just briefly or quickly read through some of the next step in the breakthrough framework, some of the philosophy that's behind it. So the first point is all problems are human problems. There are no divine problems. And all our human problems can only truly be solved at the level of the divine. You can't solve a human problem, especially if it's become an entanglement, at the level of the human through applying your mind only. You have to expand into your infinite divine being. And that's where you have the freedom to be outside your human being enough that you can get insight and perspective that allows for a breakthrough. So a problem is only a problem because it's being seen from a human perspective rather than a divine perspective. We need to be centered in our infinite divine being in order to unravel the entanglements or problems of the human being. And this requires being aware of the divine and the human at the same time. So sometimes, yeah, it's fun to go off into these high states of consciousness, these more divine states of consciousness. But at some point, you need to then look back at your human and deal with the shadow side, the repressed side of your humanity, so that you can eventually hold those divine states all the time. So breakthroughs tend to happen when you are in touch with both the human and the divine at the same time. Yeah, it's from within our infinite divine being that we can blissfully allow any and all experiences, including the most repressed, um, the lowest vibrational emotional energies, and the beliefs that are causing them, and be freed of them. So let's begin the transmission, see where the guides are going to take this today. Yeah, let's do that. And then afterwards, we'll go for about 45 to 50 minutes. And afterwards, there'll be time for questions and answers and sharing. Okay, thank you all again for being here. Let's begin. This is a transmission of divine love consciousness. It's always for your highest good and the highest good of all. These energies have been coming in quite strongly all day. I was surfing them all morning, riding upon insight after insight. So you're invited to just relax, notice what you notice, allow these energies to come in into your system, in all around you, to lift you and free you and show you more and more what tangible breakthroughs you can experience here, now, today, easily and effortlessly. So just allow the transmission to meditate you. And as I track the transmission and my guides, I put some of that into words to help you to more easily track what is going on. I use my hands and my body to feel into what's happening, to help the energies move as I track all of you through the oneness. Right now, the focus is on opening the flow through your spine, both up and down the spine, the ascending divine force and the descending divine force. Both flowing through your spine, helping to free the flow and to bring you into more balance. Yeah, what would it be like to allow all your chakras to realign to a more optimal alignment with each other, with these higher vibrational energies. And what would it be like to let go of anything that's been pulling you out of alignment without even needing to know what it is? It's just enough to know, oh, something's pulling me out of alignment. It's not for my highest good. You have permission to just let it go and notice what that feels like. So, with your central energy column and your spine becoming more relaxed, more open, more expanded now, we're able to accelerate the flow. So the ascending divine flow comes in as if from below you, rises up through you. Part of it continues upward, but part of it overflows like a fountain and comes down on every side around you, rejoins the flow below you, creating a cocoon of light all around you. And then the descending divine flow is doing the same. It comes as if from high above you, down through the central energy column. Part of it continues all the way to the core of the earth, but part of it also comes up on all sides of you to rejoin the flow above your crown. And these two cocoons of light create your light body, generate the radiance of your light body. And the idea is just to have more flow, to let the energy flow unimpeded, to allow any and all life experiences to flow all the way through, to be experienced completely. And what slows this down and causes resistance in your system are old traumas, blocked energies that were too overwhelming for you to experience in the moment. You ended up repressing. And each time they would get re-triggered, it would still feel too overwhelming, and you would repress it more. And some of these grew through the years, through the decades. Eventually, they can cause physical symptoms along with emotional, mental symptoms. But as we open the flow, as we are now, this light starts to hit those blockages, that repressed energy. And many of them simply dissolve on their own. Just bringing this light, love, and awareness is enough to cause them to break down, to dissolve. Sometimes you'll notice a release of the repressed emotion. Just let it go. It'll move through very quickly, very easily in this level of light. The focus right now is on the first level of your light body, which extends about 10 feet in all directions, or 3 meters. This is the part of your light body most involved with your mental body and emotional body and physical bodies. The foundation of your energy system. So we're activating and charging this level of your light body. You might play with just imagining this cocoon of light all around you. A lot of our problems come from entangled physical, emotional, and mental energies. And the light coming into your system right now, this activation of the first level of your light body, the flow through your central energy column, is already helping to disentangle where your mental body or your conditioning, your beliefs, your thoughts are causing uncomfortable emotions, especially where that also got entangled in your physical system, your cellular memories. The cells, when they are entangled with the emotional and mental, like, components of a repressed memory, the physical body experiences that as if it's happening now, even if it was originally something that happened 10, 20, 30 years ago. The cellular system can't distinguish time. It just sees it as an active irritation, aggravation, lack of flow, lack of freedom and flow through the system. So there's nothing here for you to figure out. We're showing this to your system energetically. We're showing your system how this works, how it's been functioning, and how easy it is to diffuse it, to disentangle these mental, emotional, physical energies purely as light and energy, without needing to even know what the memory was about, what the emotion was. We're showing you the fast track, how with enough light and love present, this disentanglement happens naturally. That's what's being shown to your system. It's like your system's being given a training in how to open to the light, absorb the light, and then allow the light to free your system of these low vibrational blocked energies. And let's just set an intention of breakthrough that you will eventually realize how tangible and real this is for you. Breakthrough. Love. Would you be willing to allow what's already in process to be augmented by bathing in the infinite love that's here present? By being aware of this love that's always available. What would it be like to allow yourself to realize consciously how loved you are all the time? Yeah, and would you be willing to allow yourself to notice this is divine love? This is pure, unconditional love that sees you, knows you, loves you just as you are. Love. So each of you is still expanding with this love and light and radiance. Whether you feel it or not, whether you know it or not yet, whether your nervous system is refined enough that it's a conscious experience in this moment, it's happening. It's real. It is having its effect. Eventually, you will have conscious awareness of these kinds of energies in the moment they're happening. But if you don't have that experience yet, that's fine. Just be patient. But whenever we are basking in these kinds of energies, some of the blocked energies simply begin to come to the surface and clear on their own. There's enough momentum and flow that many clear on their own. especially as the self-exciting energies come online. There's some of that present here. And sometimes there'll be blockages that will come into the awareness that need a little extra attention. And I'm tracking some of those in the oneness right now. So I'm just going to dive into one of them. Kind of go right into the core of it. Bring my light and awareness. Okay. Yeah, this is especially for all of you that think it's not working, either in this moment or at other times in your life. That pattern that leans towards it's not working, it's not working, it's not working for me, this doesn't work for me, I'm different, works for others, it doesn't work for me, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working, it never works for me. Now, feel how that pulls you out of alignment. It never works for me. Ouch. Clear, 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 clear. It's not working, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. Clear, 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 clear. Yeah, there's some entangled energies there that are actually, I don't want it to work. I don't want it to work. I don't want it to work. For a variety of reasons. Some of them are, I don't want it to work because then I lose my victim cred. I don't have an excuse. I can't play the victim. Clear, 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 clear. And then some of you, it's, I don't want it to work. I don't want it to work because if it works, I have to change like all my thinking. I have to reevaluate like my philosophy on life and how everything doesn't work for me. I'm different. I'm special. I'm clear, 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 clear. Yeah. Would you be willing to explore the possibility that you no longer need those kinds of beliefs, those kinds of fears? You no longer need to play the victim in any way, shape, or form. That you've only been doing that because that was what you were taught to do as the best way to take care of yourself by others who were doing that themselves. Clear, 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 clear. Clear, clear, clear. And there's also an interesting association. I don't want this to work because I'll be alone. Okay, that one's curious. Let's look at that a little more deeply. I don't want it to work because if it works, I won't need anybody. If I don't need anybody, I might not ever interact with others. Well, first of all, just notice you might enjoy that, at least for a time, being on your own, taking care of your own needs, not interacting with others. What would it be like to give yourself the freedom to do that if that's what you're being drawn to? But also, not needing others doesn't mean you won't choose to interact with them. Yeah, and then underneath all that is what if it does work for me? What if it's always been working for me? What if it is working for me right now? And I allow myself to suddenly see why I never can experience that, why I don't allow myself to see that, to experience that. Clear, clear, clear. Let's bring in the energies of breakthrough, 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 love, love. So, this is a pretty complicated entanglement, and it's totally okay if you and your conscious mind are not following any of it. Your system is following it. Your system is exploring it and finding more freedom as all of this gets brought more clearly into the light. As your system becomes more conscious of these complicated entanglements and sees what's been going on, you just naturally begin to let it go. Free yourself from those limitations. Clear, 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 clear. Clearing the third chakra, especially right now. Clearing all the ways you've been thinking you have to do it yourself, that it's something you have to figure out, you have to do, and you have to do it right, and you've been doing it wrong. What if none of that's true? Would you be willing to allow yourself to explore being completely free of those kinds of beliefs and restrictions and misunderstandings? Okay, we've been kind of deep in the depths of your unconscious mind. We're going to swim back to the surface. Bring focus to this first level of your light body, the ascending divine force, the descending divine force, the cocoons of light, their interaction. getting the flow and the spin of the light body. This is bringing about a greater coherence to your overall system, more order, more consciousness, a higher vibration, more flow once again. That flow naturally clears away what's no longer useful, what's not of your highest good. Yeah, would you be willing to welcome whatever's here now for you? We're going to just lightly activate the 30-foot level of your light body, about 10 meters in every direction. The main emphasis is still on the first level of the light body, but we're just briefly lighting up the second level of your light body. Bringing in these more subtle frequencies of brilliance, clarity, harmony, and precision. Breakthrough. Self-excited bliss is activating. Frequencies of balance being added into the mix. This is balance in every direction. The focus of these balance frequencies is the center of your heart chakra, that which allows you to know your highest good, to feel your highest good. Now let's use these energies as the basis for an exercise. Begin by picking a point of focus. This could be a problem, a situation, a pattern, or even just this moment. And now ask yourself, what is my divine's perspective on this? And your divine could be your infinite divine being, your infinite divine self, your divine beloved, your divine guides and or angels, or some divine form of God, whatever it is for you. What is my divine's perspective on this? And notice what you notice. It could be a message, silence, images that you sense or see, blackness, sensations, sense of opening or closing, expanding, contracting, whatever. It's all information, and thus it's useful. And if it's vague at first, just give it time to reveal itself to you. What is my divine's perspective on this situation, pattern, problem, moment? And then you might find it helpful to ask clarifying questions. Like you can ask, can you make it more clear? Can you help me feel it more tangibly? I'm getting the sense of such and such. Is that right? all along the way, you want to feel for what feels good. Your divine's perspective on anything will always feel good. Even if it's a bittersweet medicine, your divine will always find a way to make it feel good for you, good to you. And then let's just play with applying the words of power. So, whatever came for you, whatever arose within your awareness, could you just welcome it? And if it helps, you might even say to yourself, welcome, a few times. And now notice what it's like to apply the word of power, love. Love, 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 love. And whether you notice it or not, if there's anything to clear, you can just repeat the word clear several times till you feel a clearer space. Clear, 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 clear. And whatever you're noticing, you might find yourself welcoming it again. Welcome. And it's always helpful to add more love into the mix, or allow yourself to become more aware of the infinite love you exist within by saying love, 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 love. And then, if it feels right to you, you might invite a breakthrough. Breakthrough. And now let's revisit your original focus that you wanted your divine's perspective on. How has it changed? What's different? Does it feel different? Do you find yourself thinking differently about it? Just notice what you notice. Welcome it. So it's good for you to know this is a very simple, profound exercise that helps you to gain the divine's perspective on any and all human problems, focuses, issues, interactions. You can always replay this to practice it with all this assistance that's here present. But ultimately, you want to be able to just do this at any moment in the midst of your day. You can do it in 20 seconds or a couple of minutes. What would it be like to be able to open to your divine knowing, your divine's perspective on any issue at any moment throughout your day and night? The more you practice this, the more easy it becomes, the more fluid your experience will be with it, the more profound the results. Even to interrupt your momentum 5 to 10 times a day with the question, what's my divine perspective on this? welcome, love, clear, breakthrough, and then continue on with your day. Even just that will have profound breakthrough effects for you. I guarantee it. There is so much help available. There is so much assistance that wants you to have these breakthroughs, that wants you to be able to grow in and explore greater and greater freedom to be your divine being while here in a human lifetime, regardless of what your human issues and problems are. There is so much loving assistance here for you. And this exercise is just one way to practice the intention to receive that help. It gives them an opening to reveal themselves to you. It gives your own infinite divine being an opening to reveal his or herself to you. As well as your angels, your guides, your spirit team, and all the rest. So as we bring this session to a close, just notice what you notice in your physical body, in your physical location around you. And the earth below you, allowing all of this to ground into the earth and be shared with the collective. Which helps it to ground into you and your system even more. This session is complete. Infinite blessings. Welcome back, everyone. If you'd like to share or ask a question, feel free to unmute yourself. So I just found myself asking, what's my divine's perspective on this moment? And I just felt this big hug around all of us. Just love, 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 lots of love. Coming to Earth and being human is a service, whether somebody's aware of that or not. So yes, in that way, everybody's doing service. The animals are also doing service. Even the bacteria, etc., are doing service. To come into form always has the intention behind it to grow and evolve. And that's always of service to all that is. That's how all that is becomes even more. And yeah, but within like a human lifetime, Some people are much more aware of the service aspect than others. Some are very, very far away from consciously being aware of it. Like Donald Trump, I doubt he's conscious of the fact that he is one of the largest servants on this planet. He's playing a role that I wouldn't want to play. You know, I did not put my hand up to play that kind of role for sure. But from the point of view, from the divine's perspective, he's an infinite divine being who agreed to take on a role and play a character for the earth at this time and be super loved, super hated, super everything you could imagine. But yeah, that's a service, just like you being a mother or a wife or, whatever. We're all playing service in all these different ways. Yes. Yeah. I mean, like gathering together in a group like this and doing this kind of transmission, like making it available to the collective was only called out a little bit at the end, but the whole transmission was affecting the collective. So, part of the topic today was what's the divine's perspective on this? So just the fact that we were each opening to that a little bit more, and we are all one to some degree, everybody around the world opened at least just a little bit more to the divine perspective of what's going on. So by doing it ourselves, yes, we're always helping the oneness to do it, the collective to do it, because we're part of that and they're part of us. So the moment you open a little bit more, everybody has opened at least a little bit more. And then you just so, especially like with this latest war, at times my guys just have me sit down and channel to it. And I've been doing that for decades. Different war zones or hot spots on the planet, they'll just have me sit down and channel to it. And, it's very blissful to me to do that. So why wouldn't I? Even though sometimes, like back in my hermit days, I used to do it 6, 8 hours a day. That was my service at that time. I wasn't interacting with people like you. I was interacting with these world energies and like the financial systems and the political systems and all kinds of different topics I would be led to just channel on and transmit light and love and truth into. So there's always that. And you just want to be aware, because it can be just simple little things. Like I'm still guided I have a news feed that I read during breakfast. It's a curated news feed. I pick my sources but world politics comes up. I like to have at least a brief awareness of what's going on. And I find that sometimes I'll read a headline. It's not often I'll read a whole story, but I'll get the gist of it. And then I'll take 10 seconds to transmit and then move on. And it might be 2 or 3 headlines that cause me to do that. It might be every headline that I just do it for a second or two. And then as I'm going about my day, something might trigger me and make me think about something, happening in the world. I was out for a bike ride today, and at one point there was a bunch of garbage, and a lot of it was plastic, and it just brought to mind, how much plastic pollution. So I just transmitted to it for a few seconds. sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's just for a brief time. But like you could apply today's exercise to that. What's the divine's perspective on this trash being here? And some days I will stop and clean it up. And other days it's like, no, it doesn't feel like mine to do that step. But I bless whoever eventually does, if somebody does. So it can go in a lot of different directions. But minimally, we can always transmit love, light, and truth to it. It just takes an intention. There's no effort to do that. And so why wouldn't we? It's just allowing ourselves to become aware that that's possible and to remember to do it more and more often. Whatever works for you, any word, any quality, any feeling, you can say it out loud. You can just have the silent intention, these words of power that I've introduced. So, like that garbage on the side of the trail, welcome. Can I just welcome that? Like, that's much better than getting angry at it. It's much better than denying it, trying not to see it. Like, you just welcome it. It's here. It's in my reality for whatever reason. Welcome that. And then if I do find myself getting angry, welcome that anger. See, and then you might try clear, 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 and then you might find yourself, I'm going to go pick that up. Or you might go on to love, 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 love. It's just an intention to send love to this situation, send love to the people who weren't conscious and littered in that way. Bless them that next time they'll be a little more conscious and they won't do that anymore. They don't get there by anger. You don't help somebody get more conscious by getting angry at them. You send them love, and maybe the next time they'll be aware enough to say, this is not the right thing to do. I'm not going to do it this time. Yeah. Sure. Great questions. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. So again, one, you have this new exercise. What's my divine's perspective on this? You open to that. But when energies are more intense, it's like you say the welcoming doesn't work or the clearing doesn't work. Well, it actually does work. It always works. It just isn't necessarily giving you the result you wanted it to give you. Like, okay, you're awoken at 2 a.m. You have this intense energy running through your body. Well, I'm going to welcome that. I'm always going to welcome that. Okay, whatever this is, I don't get what this is. I'd much rather be asleep right now, but this is here. So can I just welcome it? Can I just welcome it? Can I welcome that I'm frustrated now? I'm fully awake now. What's my divine perspective on this? What now? Well, it might be, I need to get up and walk around. Maybe it's, I need to go outside and be under the moon and just let this energy have a place to go. Maybe I need to walk on the grass outside barefoot under the moon and just let the body work its way through whatever this energy is. So, you welcome that. And then you might notice, I don't want to do that right now. So it's always something new that's going to respond. It doesn't mean, it's like each thing that you do, it doesn't end there. There's always something else. what's arising in the moment is never the final thing. It's never the final answer. It's never the final anything. It's just the next thing arising. So, I've often had that kind of, I should go outside. I should get at least a little exercise. And then I notice, I really don't feel like it. I would rather just blob out where I am and not exercise. So can I welcome that now? And sometimes when I fully welcome that, I just find myself getting up and going outside. It's no longer like thoughts in my mind. It's just an action that's happening. And other times I settle more deeply into the chair and yeah, this feels really relaxing. This is my exercise today. So you just keep welcoming whatever comes, trusting that eventually it's moving you to resolution. Like if you have all this extra energy in your body, eventually, like for you, it might have been get up and eat some ice cream. And maybe that would dull it down enough. Or get up and go to a different room and just do something entirely different for a while. And then ask, what's my divine perspective on this when I'm not seated in bed where this whole thing started? Like sometimes you just need to get yourself in a different position or a different place, and already then you have a different perspective. Yeah, so it's like just explore, play. Absolutely, absolutely, no difference whatsoever. It's always the intention, and the intention's there in any language. There's no lock on any particular language. Yeah, use whatever. And you might even find yourself coming up with different words that feel like they have the same charge, the same energy to you, but for some reason feel more aligned with you. Like, it's an energy that's being shared with you that you have access to through these particular words, but that's not the only way to access it. So yeah, definitely the same word in your language will definitely work, but even other words or other terms, but that carry, if your intention is to keep that same divine love consciousness that's been programmed into each of these words, then that's what you're applying, no matter what word you use. Sure, great questions. Thank you. Yeah, I do occasionally mention the Divine Beloved, like in these free transmissions, but I go into depth in the Loving Bliss of Being course. That the last part of that course that you're already enrolled in, but you just haven't gotten there yet. It's the last couple parts of that where we go. It's like the guides like to set quite a foundation before the Divine Beloved's fully introduced. But ultimately, your Divine Beloved is it's God in a personal form that you can have a relationship with, a beloved's relationship with. And that form varies for each person and can even shift. Like mine often shows up as like a 10-year-old boy, but sometimes shows up as a woman, sometimes shows up as an old man. So, God, of course, can shapeshift and will grace you with whatever form you desire to experience your divine beloved in. But it's the ultimate sweetness. It's the ultimate goal of divine love consciousness is to have that relationship where God is your beloved. God like raises you and equalizes the relationship to where you're on the same level. Within the grace of that full God realization, you can meet God as equal, as other. And it's the absolute sweetest experience of divine love we can experience. And we can only experience it by coming and having these human incarnations. Like celestial gods and goddesses can't ever have that divine beloved relationship unless they start incarnating as humans and let go of their celestial realms. It's something unique to the human soul experience that we can eventually be elevated to this divine beloved relationship. Like the angels can't have that unless they give up their angelic nature to become embodied souls and go through their human incarnations. Okay, I'm going to bring this to a close. This has been wonderful.